Great, I bet this'll come in handy.
I am Z.B. Collingwood, and it is October the 5th, 1936. Well, the first day of shooting what will surely be my most memorable, and certainly my greatest picture, is over. We shot the grand barge scene, and I must say, the sand, the palm trees, the water, and Lois, my dear, delicate, exquisitely beautiful Lois. Everything worked. Everything came together for a shot that was breathtaking. Even the crew was in awe, and that is always a good sign. ZBC here. It's November the 18th, 1936, the day we officially fell exactly 2 weeks behind schedule and became $10,792 over budget. The studio is extremely concerned, of course, but the fault is theirs for saddling me with such an inept crew. Granted, getting the performance I want from Lois often requires several takes, but the camera operator is particularly impatient and unhelpful. No fellow artist, that one. Recorded by Z.B. Collingwood on December 13th, 1936, the day the scales fell from my eyes. I saw the first rough cut of my masterpiece, and was immediately struck by two things. Lois Manson is one of the most beautiful women ever created, and she is a perfectly dreadful actress. I believe that with judicious editing, Pharaoh can and will be saved, but oh, how blind I've been. I must think of a way to spare poor Lois the humiliation that surely awaits her, to see that she is remembered for something, anything other than her utter lack of talent. Z.B. Collingwood here. It is January 25th, 1937. Today, Pharaoh at long last wrapped. To say that it has been a tumultuous shoot is an understatement. I have convinced the studio that the entire set should be bulldozed over immediately. Given all that's happened, such a burial, dark and dramatic, is bound to generate massive amounts of free publicity, I told them. Which is true. But it's not the whole truth. That is what I shall bury, the truth in its entirety, so that someday some worthy soul can discover it.
Welcome to the docks. During the filming of the first Pharaoh movie, the man-made lake you see before you doubled as the Nile River. 10 tons of sand and 2,000 palm trees were brought in so that in the movie's most spectacular scene, Lois Manson, starring as Nefertiti, Princess of the Nile, could appear to be surveying her domain from her royal barge. When the movie wrapped, the film's eccentric director demanded that the sand and trees be removed and that every set, no matter how elaborate, be bulldozed over. In 1943, a theme park was built on top of the buried sets. Unfortunately, World War II was raging and the public was in no mood for theme parks. Its owners went bankrupt, and in 1947 the park was abandoned. The docks are among the attractions that were left behind. The steamship to your right, now empty, once housed a restaurant and was aptly dubbed the Nile Princess. On a more mysterious note, blueprints showing the exact locations of the original Pharaoh sets were also left behind, albeit on purpose. The film's director supposedly hid them somewhere on the grounds of the park just before his death in 1949. These blueprints, if they truly exist, have never been found.
You hear about the black cat? The first AD saw it run out from behind the scaffolding just before it collapsed.
What about it?
I've been stuck in this Anubis head ever since Tatiana quit. It's no fun getting all your nutrition through a straw, let me tell ya.
I heard when that snake bit Lois Madsen, she didn't so much as gasp. It killed her so quick.
Have they put dog biscuits on the menu yet?
Ever get cold all of a sudden when you're on the set? You know, for no good reason. All the time. I don't think the set is cursed. I think it's haunted.
Yeah, you too? Did you know that Lois Manson's body was buried along with the original Pharaoh set? They buried an empty casket.
Baloney. She's buried in Westwood. I've seen her grave. Whoa.
One of the grips told me the reason they've been doing so many takes of Ida is because a shadow keeps showing up behind her on the video playback. It's like a dark blur just over her shoulder. VidTech can't figure it out.
What do you mean, a shadow?
You know who I can't stand? The snake wrangler guy. Which is exactly why I don't.
The snakes sure seem to like him.
They say the first Pharaoh director was so obsessed with ancient Egypt that he'd sleep on the set instead of going home. No, he was happily married. That's what drove Lois Manson bonkers.
Maybe he slept on the set because his wife kicked him out of the house.
You know Hector, the gazillion-year-old set builder? He says the reason they bulldozed over the first Pharaoh set was because right after Lois Manson died, it got infested with bugs. Yeah, like beetles and cockroaches and stuff. They were all over the place, in all the walls, the lights, props, everywhere. So they buried the whole kit and caboodle.
What about it? Bugs?
That Molly McKenna's a piece of work, isn't she? He used to be fine, but 2 days into this shoot, he just started getting real anxious and uptight about every little thing. It was weird. It was almost like he'd become someone else.
Hey, she's a lot better than that Stanislaw was. How someone as neurotic as him got to be line producer is beyond me.
You know who scares me? Arthur Hitchens. I mean, how big he is. If you were like standing next to him and there was an earthquake and he fell over, but you fell over first so that he fell on top of you, we are talking major owie.
I met him once. I thought he was nice.
I didn't know they had cowboys in England.
George Jackson is from Australia, you ninny.
I heard the camera operator talking to one of the grips earlier. He's gone through 3 lenses since we started shooting on stage A. He'll put a new lens on. Everything's fine 1 minute. Next minute, cracked. For absolutely no reason. You tried the whiteout diet yet? That's the one where you don't eat anything white. Rice, bread, potatoes, pasta, ice cream. Give up ice cream? Are you mental?
Which one is that? Have you tried it?
Corey Applebaum, the writer on this thing, swears it was the guy who wrote the first Pharaoh movie who offed Lois Manson. The way she changed her lines all the time drove the guy nuts.
I don't know what came over me. I saw that cat and all I wanted to do was chase it.
I don't want to use this broom until after I'm done putting everything away. Looks like the costumes are strewn everywhere. Maybe I'll put them away. I am the new production assistant after all. Whoa, what's all this? Well, it doesn't look like the cat's here, but this looks like the wardrobe room. Maybe I can find out where those beads came from now. The huge jewel of Karnak emerald was lost during the shooting of the original Pharaoh film. Could the director's clues be leading me to it? More importantly, could Ida be after it? Agapanthus africanus, or the lily of the Nile, is a beautiful plant with blue-violet flowers. Plant in full sun for the prettiest blooms. Wow! An autographed picture of Lois Manson. Ida sure is trying to get into the part. I'll need to move some of her stuff so I can inspect everything. The beads I found on the broken scaffolding match the ones on this Nefertiti costume. Now let's clean up this mess. There we go! Now I should be able to open this locker. For reference only. Ah, okay. Here's how I can figure out which costumes belong in which lockers. This screwdriver was used to scratch out that nameplate. Looks like someone was upset. Security stepped up. No kidding. Whoa! Looks like someone isn't happy with whoever is using this locker. Stub. Maybe I can use this dolly to access the collapsed scaffolding. I just need to get the dolly into the right position and make sure it's extended as far as it will go. A coded lock. I think it's time for a little powwow. This is the crate from the manifest in Arthur's office. I need to get up to the part of the scaffolding that isn't collapsed. Maybe I can use this dolly. I just need to get it in the right position. Oops, I must have reset the system. I need to follow the pre-programmed order that Molly was referring to. How can I follow that cat now? These crates are too heavy to move. There's a wooden ramp here, but it's broken. Oh, maybe I can build a new ramp. The Ark is buried here. There you are. Here, kitty, kitty. These levers control that crane. It looks like it can hold a lot of weight. A.H. Arthur Hitchens? Wonder why he'd need that decoder. That's funny. The only thing missing seems to be the decoder. I wonder what that could be. This is the lockpick I need to get into that sarcophagus under the Main Street house. Perfect. That's just where I need it to be. A storyboard for the final scene. It looks just like the one Lois Manson filmed. George Jackson can't be planning the same real-life ending. Can he? Shoot, there it goes again. There's that cat again. I just can't seem to catch that cat. Oh my gosh, this bolt has been shaved off. What happened to the scaffolding was no accident. Looks like these are part of a wardrobe item. I'd better check it out. These beads may be a clue as to who tampered with this bolt. I should check out the wardrobe room. I'd better put these scaffolding pipes back together before the whole thing falls apart. Now I can climb up to that scaffolding. The Ruler of the Nile is the title to this. A film in a new style, not easily dismissed. The famous Nile princess that Lois Manson played, her life was a success, her name will never fade. Okay, who's the only person I know who drinks these things? I don't think they feed the snakes tuna. Could this be for that cat? Nejahaje! It must be the snake on the poster I need to decode. Oh no, someone let all the reptiles out of their cages. I guess someone needs to put them back. Oh shoot, the bulb burned out. How can I get another red bulb? Whoa, a makeshift photography lab. Here we go, the penthouse. This looks almost as bad as the wardrobe department. Wow, all these are candid photos of Ida. That's a little creepy. Hollywood. Looks like someone's not too happy. I guess I should answer that. Now I can see which buttons have fingerprints on them. I just need to figure out which buttons get pressed first. I guess that wasn't the right order. Nope, that wasn't right. Ah! This must be the decoder that was missing from that crate on the set. That was interesting. There's a key in here. I can't quite reach it.
Hi, Arthur. It's me. I was just wondering if you needed to talk. You know my number. You've reached the office of Lydia Lynn, Tinseltown Tatler celebrity journalist. Leave a juicy message after the beep.
The third crate here contained that decoder. But what's this Valley of the Kings one? I'd better head over to Stage A to find out. I need something long and sticky. All right, got it open. Maybe I should try out this phone number. This must be the code to the safe. The safe is locked, naturally. I must have entered the numbers in the wrong order. Looks like Arthur isn't here, which means it's a good time to snoop for that decoder. There we go. Hey, there's a voicemail. Maybe I should check up on who's been calling Arthur. I bet each hieroglyph in the note represents one letter of the alphabet. I just need to match letters with hieroglyphs. That sure got the cat to come down. Now where'd it go? I think the car is part of this attraction, but it looks like it's broken. Whoa, that was pretty cool. I wonder how the car gets repaired at the end of the attraction. I wonder what this means. Whoa, I better turn the power off before someone gets electrocuted, namely me. It looks like the Dead at the Wheel attraction uses a car and a fake crash wall along with a detective statue. I guess there was more to that statue than I thought. I don't think it's going to work until I fix the wiring and turn the power back on. That's the cat Molly wants me to catch. I'd better go after it. Yes, here's the onk Molly wanted. Yes, a bobby pin, the simple yet effective tool for all your lock-picking needs. Guess I'll have to go upstairs if I want to catch that cat. It looks like there are some tools behind that gate. Maybe I can use them. That looks much safer. That fake wall is sturdier than I expected. Looks like I'll have to activate this dead at the wheel attraction. Somehow. Will your version of Pharaoh be similar to the original Pharaoh movie? Ophidiophobic? What if she won't do it? I'll let you get back to your rattlesnake. I hear Arthur Hitchens is really making you angry these days. I hear Ida can be hard to work with. Why do you think this production of Pharaoh why is this production having so many accidents? So you don't believe in any curse? But you're pretty much the only person around here who drinks rattlesnakes, aren't you? What do you mean? How did you know I'm a detective? No thanks. Someone put a snake in Ida's locker. When I was in the reptile room, I found this swizzle stick. What about the actress from the original Pharaoh movie, Lois Manson? How did she end up with a poisonous snake on the set? The prop room that Molly McKenna keeps locked was broken into tonight. No, but I do know the thief was wearing a hooded cloak. How did you know the thief stole the flash boom? Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm looking for Molly McKenna. You want to see my pass? I guess so, sure. Good to meet you too. I fixed the generator because of the creepy accidents. I noticed something interesting on the wall next to the intercom. It was a wanted poster of a black cat. I ran into some bad luck. What happened here? I see. Well, when I was in the office, I got a strange call from a man with a deep voice. And he said, "Get back to the soundstage." Oh, I see. This whole set is sitting on an old theme park then. That explains the old detective statue. I tried putting a coin into the detective statue, and the first thing that happened was the detective's eyes glowed. But then something went wrong because a puddle of water became electrified. So, regarding the latest accident, I'd really like to check out that collapsed scaffolding. It wasn't me, it was like that when I got here. Somebody must have broken in earlier tonight. Who knew it was in here? I checked out the scaffolding. Whoever broke in wrecked the security camera too, or tried to. Is the editing room here equipped to play back video that was recorded digitally? I need to see what's on that chip. It could give us a look at our burglar. If there's nothing valuable in here, why was the room locked? I saw a crate of flash boom. It was completely empty. I checked out the scaffolding. I found a bolt that was shaved off and a bead from Ida's costume. The chip that was inside the camera, the chip was still intact. I told her, actually, you. Probably true, but that snake wasn't meant for her. It was meant for me. While I was checking out that video chip, you shoved that snake into Ida's locker. You let all the reptiles out of their cages, too, just in case I somehow missed the snake. You know, Mr. Hitchens, something Ida said earlier has been bothering me. All these accidents, yet no one's been hurt. I think I know who's been causing them. I think you do, too. So you caused the accidents, taking care that no one got hurt, but instead of reporting them, you closed the set, knowing word would leak out anyway, and that all the secrecy would attract lots of media attention. George, I saw your makeshift photo lab, along with the photos of Ida you took behind her back. Or should I say, of her back? I was trying to calm her down after someone put that snake in her locker. You knew the wardrobe room would be my next stop. You knew it'd be my next stop after I saw the cloak on the video chip because you'd already seen that it was missing from the reference model. She realized I actually knew what I was doing and was afraid I might somehow keep her from finding that lost footage. Oh my gosh, you're Ida Brooks. Hi, I'm Nancy Drew, the new production assistant. I saw Tatiana's note. She was really scared of the accidents. By any chance, is your costume missing a bead? Do you get upset when you read those tabloid articles by Lydia Lynn? How did the nameplate on your locker, how did it get all scratched up? Were you on the set when the scaffolding collapsed? Ida, it's okay. I'll catch it. I promise. Just calm down. I will. I promise. Just calm down. What's the reptile room? Yeah, and I hate to tell you this, but I couldn't really tell, but probably not. Look, I'm gonna level with you. Do you have any idea who might have put it there? I'm not really a production assistant. I'm a private detective. Yeah, and I hate to tell you this, but that snake came from your locker. I saw this book in your locker. It's about the Jewel of Karnak. Ida? George Jackson. He's been following you around taking pictures without your knowing. Maybe he's the reason for your premonition. Arthur Hitchens? Why? Arthur sent me to look for you because you didn't show up for your meeting at the Casbah. I think I've discovered who's been spying on you. Maybe he's the reason for your premonition. Do you think George Jackson is responsible for the accidents? Ada? How'd you get here? The Jewel of Karnak? It was never here. Not the real one, at least. The director couldn't resist having an exact replica made and keeping the original for himself. It's all right here in this letter. Ada, what are you talking about? I die in a cave-in? By being the star of this movie, maybe? I don't know, but he's got a ton of them in his room. That's odd. He said that's where he was going. Do you have any idea why George Jackson would be taking pictures of Ida on the sly? You know, without her knowing it? Is George still at the Casbah? And you'd like me to try to find it? Your producer, Molly? She's a suspect? I take it you're Arthur Hitchens? I hear you intend to build another theme park right here. When you said the real reason I was hired, it wasn't to investigate all the accidents, was it? That director, was his name Z.B. Collingwood? One other thing. You may be right about Molly McKenna. I checked out her laptop, and the last website Molly visited was Pharaoh Files. She definitely knows about the lost footage. One other thing. In his letter, why did George accuse you of lying? There we go. All right. Yes, I think I'll take Ida's advice and check out the Casbah. Time to revisit that sarcophagus and try out this new lockpick. That cellar door looks like a good way to get under the house, but these crows won't let me by. I have to distract them somehow. Something tells me I need to pay close attention to color. Shoot, that wasn't fast enough. I'll have to start over. Phew, there they go. Now to get into that cellar. Hurry! Everything's about to collapse! The lost footage! It really exists! Wow, cool! Let's check this place out. Whoa, where am I? I need to find a way to light up this room. Oh my gosh! The director kept the original Jewel of Karnak for himself. Oops, I'd better try this again. Well, Ida, looks like you got your wish for publicity after all. Darn, the passage is blocked. But it looks like someone's been using flash boom to get deeper underground. Whoa, what's in here? I should light these candles so I can check out this room. Aha! So this is where all the flash boom ended up. I'll bet someone is using it to look for the lost footage. This looks tricky. I don't think my lockpick kit will work on this one. This is my chance to finish the excavation and find that lost footage first. Someone's outside. I'm going to find out who. Darn, I didn't light them all in time. I'll have to try that again. I'll have to start over. It's a passageway that leads farther underground. Oh boy, I guess I have to climb down through this sarcophagus. Who's there? Time to see what's on this lost footage. I think someone's coming. Wait a sec. Before I call Molly, what's this poster on the wall? Uh-oh, looks like someone beat me to the punch when it comes to investigating this prop room. Hey, what's this on the floor? That's strange. Yikes, what's all this glass doing here? I should probably pick it up before going to the prop room. She's alive? There we go. Now I can see what the security camera captured. That's the same cloak I saw in the wardrobe room. That's the Jewel of Karnak. Oh, it's Lois Manson, a digital decryptor. I can use this to hack into the chip from the security camera. Whoa, so according to that audio tour, the entire set from the 1937 Pharaoh film was buried, and I'm standing on top of it right now. Hey, there's something down in the water. I wonder if that buoy is marking something. These must be the blueprints they were talking about in the audio tour. Looks like the final filming took place under the house on Main Street. What an interesting bit of history. I wonder what happened to those blueprints. So this is the Nile Princess I've heard so much about. Oh no! Well, now that the snake is gone, I can check out what's in the locker. What in the world does Neja Haje mean? Aha! Molly's staying in room 614. Getting that code wasn't so hard.
Hi, this is Jake from J&S Security Systems. So we got your cameras all serviced, but my technician told me that he misplaced that key you gave him to open the access panel in the lobby. Yeah, I'm real sorry about that. He said he asked the cleaning crew that was in the lobby with him that night, but none of them seemed to remember seeing anything lying around. I hope that's not going to cause you guys too much trouble. We'll keep our eye out and let you know if anything turns up on our end. Thanks.
Aha! There's George entering his code. Perfect. This doesn't make any sense. Wait, musical notes maybe? Wait, I need to figure out Molly's room number before I go up. But there's no key for room 614 here. It's a good thing I have that lock-picking kit.
You have 1. New messages. To listen to your messages, please enter your 5-digit employee access code.
That was weird. I should check out George's room. I'll need the security code to the penthouse, though. I know. I can decrypt the camera's data chip to see George entering his code. I just need to turn off the camera first. It looks like there are hieroglyphs all along the edges of this old movie poster. Let's see if I can decipher them. Maybe the key that opens the service panel is still around here somewhere. I can't walk past that security camera. They'll recognize me. I just need to turn the camera off first. Hey! That cat just shredded this music. This could come in handy. Maybe I'll just borrow it for a little while. This should be the perfect opportunity to hear some local gossip. I'd sure like to get Arthur's take on all this. Maybe I'll head over to his office. So that's where Ida went. I didn't know there were any docks around here. I wonder how you get to that back entrance. I'll have to figure that out as soon as I'm done snooping in here. That's a good tip. I need to meet George Jackson. 1 rattlesnake smoothie for George, coming right up. I shouldn't snoop until all the customers are gone. Luckily, it's almost closing time. In the meantime, I can make smoothies and listen for more gossip.
Hey there! Are you the new production assistant? I could really use some help here behind the bar. What do you say to taking care of a few of these smoothie orders?
Me? Oh, yeah. Well, sure, why not? Hey, now I can try out those musical notes I decoded from the Neja Haje Egyptian Cobra. That was pretty. Wonder if that song has a name. Here we go. The Nile Princess. Where have I heard that name before? So Lois Manson didn't die from a snakebite on the set of the first Pharaoh after all. Actress that she was, she faked the whole thing. Which means I'll have to train my people, i.e. Togo, to answer the phone. But something tells me having to talk to a dog won't faze their people one bit. The director was obviously in on it, as well as the coroner who signed her death certificate. So she must have been some kind of spy or federal witness or something. In any case, once the camera stopped rolling, she vanished into history. But in spite of all the publicity generated by the footage of her death, as well as by Ida's convenient nervous breakdown, which allowed her to avoid prosecution when it came to that cave-in, Pharaoh tanked at the box office. Molly McKenna, who, believe it or not, wound up adopting that stray black cat I'd been chasing all over the lot, didn't really care. But Arthur Hitchens was devastated. It looks like the movie set will be bulldozed over once again to build not Pharaohland, but a strip mall. Which was fine by George Jackson. Despite his denials, he deeply resented the fact that Arthur had used his considerable influence to make George unemployable unless he directed Pharaoh. George was happy the film was a flop. I guess he was too busy relishing Arthur's misery to realize that the movie's failure wasn't exactly a boon to his career either. As for me, the Tinseltown Tattler has been hounding me for months, trying to get the inside scoop on my adventure. I'm thinking I'll just have their people call my people. So Lois Manson didn't die from a snakebite while filming the first Pharaoh after all. Actress that she was, she faked the whole thing. As for me, The Tinseltown Tattler has been hounding me for months, trying to get the inside scoop of my adventure. I'm thinking I'll just have their people call my people, which means I'll have to train my people, i.e. Togo, to answer the phone. But something tells me having to talk to a dog won't faze their people one bit. The director was obviously in on it, as well as the coroner who signed her death certificate. So she must have been some kind of spy or federal witness or something. In any case, once the camera stopped rolling, she vanished into history. As for the Jewel of Karnak, which Lois apparently stole from the director after he switched it with a fake, Arthur Hitchens returned it to the Egyptian Museum from which it had come some 80 years earlier. This generated a lot of publicity, as did Ida's very convenient nervous breakdown, which allowed her to avoid prosecution when it came to that cave-in. As a result, the new Pharaoh movie was a smash hit. Arthur was thrilled. Molly McKenna, who, believe it or not, wound up adopting that stray black cat I'd been chasing all over the lot, didn't much care. George Jackson, however, was disappointed. Despite his denials, he deeply resented the fact that Arthur had used his considerable influence to make George unemployable unless he directed Pharaoh. He wanted the movie to tank because it would have ruined Arthur financially. Of course, it wouldn't have done wonders for George's career, but he was either too focused on payback or just plain too dumb to realize that. Darn, it's locked. It all started with this letter from a friend of my dad's. When I called her, Molly sounded even more desperate over the phone than she did in her letter. She told me to come to Hollywood ASAP and meet her on the set where Pharaoh is being shot. The set is on a very old movie lot, which is apparently being made into a very modern theme park. I've investigated mysterious accidents before, but never on the set of a real live movie. This is one case I can't wait to solve. Soundstage A, here I come. I learned where my next case would take me. The Redondo, an exclusive spa where the rich and famous go to get nipped, tucked, or just plain indulged. Massages, gourmet meals, exotic beauty treatments, luxurious rooms. Unfortunately, someone has added danger to its list of amenities by planning devices that suddenly explode with potentially deadly results. Help me unmask this mad bomber before the spa's wealthy clients start checking out for good in my next adventure.
Stage A, what's up? Make it fast.
Finally! I'm a little stressed at the moment because we just blew a circuit and nobody's power tools work. Wait a minute. Nancy, see the generator up there? I need you to start it. Got that? Don't guess so. Do so. Fast.
Thanks. My line producer quit on me, so I've been down there cracking the whip all day. Looks like I'm going to be here all night, too. I hate shooting at night. No, because I have to pay the crew time and a half. Double if we go past midnight. It's going to put us even more over budget. A black cat keeps showing up on the set, and rumors are flying that it's some kind of jinx. So if you see it, grab it. I want it gone. Last thing the crew needs is another distraction. Some of them already think this production has the Lois Manson curse hanging over it. Oh no, now what? I gotta get down there. Look, go outside to Main Street and get the Ankh out of the storage room behind the pawn shop, okay? Bring it to me on the set, if there still is a set. Nancy, nice to meet you in person. Couple of grips were rigging lights when all of a sudden the scaffolding for the Nefertiti throne just collapsed out from under them. Nobody got hurt, but I thought it best to wrap for the night. That was Arthur Hitchens, my boss, our boss, the boss, the guy who's financing this shipwreck of a movie. See, he bought the old theme park this soundstage sits on and is counting on the new improved version of Pharaoh to launch a new theme park he's going to develop. It's going to pay homage not to old Hollywood like the former park did, but to ancient Egypt. That statue is 65 years old. It was part of the theme park that was built after the set of the first Pharaoh movie was torn down and bulldozed over. Now, the park's just a bunch of dilapidated buildings. And killer statues. Why Arthur insists on keeping an office down there is beyond me. That was the main reason I shut down for the night, so nobody could muck up the crime scene before you had a chance to look for clues. Just get to the bottom of these accidents. And keep looking for that cat. Nancy, what took you so long? What are you doing in here? And what did you do to the door? Nancy? Why would somebody break in? There's nothing valuable in here. Because film crews have notoriously sticky fingers, that's why. Besides, I store flash boom in here. That's a pyrotech we use for special effects. Of course. That's not good. That stuff can also be used as an explosive. Well, let's see. Everyone, the editing room's all yours. Just be sure to check out Ida's locker when you're done. She might be a better actress than I thought. Shaved off. If the scaffolding collapsed because someone tampered with the bolts, that means these accidents aren't accidents at all. But Ida can't be causing them. She has the mental capacity of a grapefruit. Ida's missing. She was supposed to meet us at the Casbah, but she didn't. I checked her room. She's not there. I called her agent. He hasn't heard from her. This just isn't like her. I'm worried about the picture. All we have left to shoot are her scenes, Arthur. If she isn't on the set tomorrow, we are toast. That's sick. To my knowledge, he was never there. At least, not while we were waiting for Ida to show. Ida's missing. George is missing. George has been stalking Ida. I'm getting a little creeped out here. Arthur, we really should then go over to the Casbah and keep your ears open. Listen for the latest gossip on Ida. It might help you figure out where she is. Are you feeling all right? Where have you been? Believe it or not, I was actually worried about you. Well, the gang's all here. Someone put a snake in your locker? Come on, who else would have done it? Hey, look, Ida may not be my favorite person, but I would never risk traumatizing her like that. It would jeopardize the picture. Okay. So maybe the idea of finding that lost footage made me do things that were a little excessive. But I never used any of the flash boom because finding the entrance to the original Pharaoh set is impossible. And I never put anybody's life in danger like you did. I'm talking about the accidents. You actually believe in curses? No wonder we've fallen so far behind schedule. You've been distracted by this idiotic obsession of yours. I'm not following. Huh? You lost me.
Oh my gosh. Molly is researching the lost film footage.
Okay. Next question. I don't know what to say. That doesn't make sense.
I'd better let Arthur know.
Ah, there we go. My favourite thirst quencher. You must be the new production assistant, Nancy Drew. I'm George Jackson, director of films, lover of rattlesnakes. That's not true. I swear if the members of this crew were half as good at working as they are at spreading rumours, we would have wrapped this picture 2 weeks ago. I don't know who told you that, but Arthur Hitchens and I get along just fine. My film will be nothing like the cheesy, overwrought monstrosity classic studio spewed out 75 years ago. My Pharaoh will be spectacular in every sense of the word. I do intend to shoot the climactic death scene in exactly the same way, shot for shot, as the original director. You know, as a kind of intellectual exercise, but even then, I guarantee you there will be no mistaking my work for his. Directing Ida has been a challenge, but fortunately I love challenges. Thus I love Ida. Every self-centered, scatterbrained, ophidiophobic square inch of her. She's afraid of snakes, something she conveniently failed to mention until after she'd signed a contract. See, the climax of the film happens when her character, Nefertiti, tries to murder someone using a poisonous snake, which means to shoot that scene, Ida has to be ready, willing and able to hold a live snake. Non-poisonous, of course. Oh, she'll do it. Like it or not, Ida is going to do that final scene just like it was done in the original. Molly McKenna, the mad course cutter. It's her fault. Anytime you have a producer whose first concern is money and last concern is safety, what do you get? Accidents. All I know is... sometimes it seems like that lady is deliberately trying to sabotage her own shoot. For that, I thank you. Someone put a live snake in Ida's locker? She must have had a fit. Wait a minute. If you think I put that snake in Ida's locker, you're dead wrong. Although I applaud whoever did. Exposing her to snakes might help her get over that silly phobia she has. Yes, but I promise you I have not been in the reptile room in days. That is a question no one to this day has been able to answer. Some people say the snake wrangler accidentally gave Lois a real asp instead of a non-poisonous black snake. Others say someone knowingly switched the snakes at the last minute. And some say Lois herself switched the snakes because her unrequited love for the film's director had driven her mad. Or maybe she was simply a marked woman. Literally. I read somewhere that she had a strange birthmark on her arm, one that resembled the Egyptian hieroglyph that meant cursed. Probably just a Hollywood myth. But even a myth usually has some element of truth in it. Don't tell me you found a rattlesnake swizzle stick in there too. Sorry, my hooded cloak is at the cleaners, but I suppose you want to test my hands for traces of flash boom anyway, right? Detective Drew? I heard someone talking over at the Casbah. I just assumed that. I mean, it's the only thing in there worth stealing, right? Hey, speaking of the Casbah, that's where I'm headed. Join me? Suit yourself. Hey, Nancy, right? You look like you're on a mission. You talking to me? You were snooping in my room? I did not put that snake in your locker. You broke into your own prop room to make it look like someone else took that flash boom, didn't you? And you tried to frame me for the snake stuff with that stupid swizzle stick. I was taking pictures of that mark on your back. The one that's just like the mark Lois Manson had on her back. The one that meant she was cursed. There really is a curse, people. Seriously, mate, you need to shut this production down before history repeats itself and somebody gets killed. You're darn right I do. Hey, look what happened to the people who opened the tomb of King Tut. A week later they were dropping like flies. The ancient Egyptians were experts. Huh? That's interesting. That's nice. Okay, any other pearls of wisdom? Did that make sense to you? Whatever you say. Is there something wrong with you?
Ugh, I was hoping you were the new wardrobe person. Ever since Tatiana quit, this room's been a disaster. I've lost 2 pairs of Italian shoes in here. All these people quitting. They're such wusses. So what if the set is cursed, nobody's died or even gotten hurt? What the heck is their problem? Yes! Nobody can find the glue gun, so now wherever I go, I leave a trail of beads. Upset? Did they spell my name wrong? No, they spelled it right. Why would I get upset? It's free publicity. Actually, there's 2 stories in there about me. Well, technically, the second one's about Lois Manson, but it's kind of about me, seeing as how I'm playing the part she played in the first Pharaoh movie before she bit it. Or should I say, before the snake bit her. I don't know. It happened a couple of days ago. Apparently somebody doesn't like me. Although I have no idea why. I mean, as far as stars go, I'm nice as can be. So just buzz off, Mr. Name Scratcher Outer, whoever you are. No. Just so happens I got a call from my agent saying to meet him in the Casbah. That's the lounge near the hotel we're all staying at. So I went over there, and the next thing I knew, the crew came in saying there'd been another accident, and we were done for the night. Hey, you should head over to the Casbah and meet the people you'll be working with. George is there, George Jackson. He's the director. Me, I think I'll go lie down. Being nice all the time is exhausting. Who are you? A snake just slid over my foot! Oh my gosh, somebody catch it, please! I hate snakes! I hate snakes! Catch it and put it back in the reptile room. It must have escaped or something. It's where they keep all the icky creatures they're using for the shoot. Snakes, lizards, frogs, turtles. Why's my locker open? A private detective? Really? Wait a minute. You opened my locker? Someone put a snake in my locker? Was it poisonous? No. I mean, yes. Whoever's been watching me, that's who it was. Wherever I go, on the set, in the hotel, I get the creepiest feeling that someone's staring at me. I mean, of course people stare at me because I'm young and beautiful and all that, but this feels more like someone's spying on me. See, legend has it that Nefertiti was the original owner of this ginormous emerald that became known as the Jewel of Karnak. Apparently Lois Manson heard that and refused to star in Pharaoh unless the real Jewel of Karnak was used as a prop. And people say I'm a diva. Anyway, during the shoot, the jewel suddenly went missing. Everyone suspected Lois had taken it, which she of course denied. But a couple of days later, that thing with the snake happened and she died. So the movie wrapped, they buried the set, and the Jewel of Karnak was never, ever found. Cool story, huh? Ooh, I gotta go. I'm supposed to meet Molly and Arthur at the Casbah. Find that snake. You promised. Ooh, I gotta go. I'm supposed to meet Molly and Arthur at the Casbah. Find the snake. You promised. Nancy! Oh my gosh, you scared me. Oh my gosh, my heart's not beating. I'm not kidding, I can't feel my pulse. Oh wait, there it is. What are you doing out here? I'm hiding. I was on my way to that meeting when I suddenly got this premonition that something terrible was about to happen, so I've just been walking around, trying to make the feeling go away. Really? Let's hear it. Ew! My what? Oh, my premonition! Yeah, right. He probably is, the weirdo. If he's as twisted as you say, it wouldn't surprise me. Although, my money would have been on Arthur. My agent says he's one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. Not because he's super rich, but because everybody owes him. In fact, if I were you, I'd figure out how to sneak a peek inside that safe in his office. I bet you'd find all sorts of goodies in there. I'm getting confused. Ah! As well you should have been. I was hiding. From Mr. Spy Cam here. Who else would I be talking to? She's a detective, freak lips. Apparently taking pictures of me wasn't enough. Ew! Oh my gosh, you're both freaks! Since when is feeding a cat a threat to anybody's life? Oops. I just thought it would hype the Lois Manson curse rumor that I sort of started. But so what? Curses are great publicity. The Tinseltown Tatler lapped it up when I sort of called them and told them about it. But that's nowhere near as bad as what Peeping George here has been doing. What mark on my back? You moron! That's a scar from a tattoo I had removed when I landed this part. I don't believe this. People call me a ditz, but do I go around saying, "Run, hide, the big bad curse is..." What? That was funny! Huh? That's interesting. You're pulling my leg, right? Are you on medication? You're a riot. Say what? Now that's just silly. You're strange. What? So where is it? I followed you. I've been following you ever since I more or less told you to look in Arthur's safe. So where's the jewel? There's no Jewel of Karnak in here? I don't believe it! Here we are on the very set where the original Pharaoh was shot, just like I planned, only there's no jewel? How am I supposed to get rich and famous now? Are you kidding? Even I'm smart enough to know this movie is going to be a disaster. Unless, what if disaster were to strike again? Oh my gosh, if someone were to die as tragically and mysteriously as Lois Manson did on this movie, oh my gosh, it would make headlines all over the world! Publicity! You die in a cave-in down here. We finish the film in your memory. It opens, bam! Smash hit! And I'm rich and famous after all. Yeah, that part's kind of a bummer. But hey, that's showbiz. It was a pleasure working with you, Nancy. Bye-bye.
Our fearless director over there sure looks happy. What's in those things anyway?
It's the rattlesnake he's drinking. Can't get enough of them. Blueberries, orange slices, and peanut butter. Always served with a snake rattle swizzle stick. You ever want to have a nice long chat with George Jackson? Just put a rattlesnake down in front of him and it'll open right up.
Seen Ida lately? The docks? Oh yeah, where the Nile princess is tied up. Who's Ida rendezvousing with? George Jackson?
Nope. She's rendezvousing with someone down at the docks. You know, when you go the back way through the Main Street attraction, look around. Who else don't you see in here? Bingo!
That I am, Nancy. No need to apologize for breaking into my office. It's exactly what I was hoping you'd do. It proves that you are indeed up to the task at hand, which, unbeknownst to Ms. McKenna, is the real reason I suggested she hire you. Here, I'd like you to have this. I found it in the janitor's closet. It's an old lock-picking kit. Take it. That's correct. The fact that a promising starlet died while shooting a movie here, the fact that the set was buried immediately after the film wrapped, the fact that a new version of the very same movie is being filmed in the very same place. Combine these elements with state-of-the-art attractions, and I believe the public will flock to Pharaohland by the thousands. That's correct. The fact that a promising starlet died while shooting a movie here, the fact that the set was buried immediately after the film wrapped, the fact that a new version of the very same movie is being filmed in the very same place. Combine these elements with state-of-the-art attractions, and I believe the public will flock to Pharaohland by the thousands. Few people know this, but the version of Pharaoh that was shown in theaters back in 1937 was not the version the director shot. Much of his footage, the scene in which poor Lois Manson met her demise in particular, was somehow lost. Were it to be found, it would be incredibly valuable publicity for my version of the movie. Correct? I have reason to believe that the director hid the missing footage somewhere on the set of the original movie just before the studio bulldozed over it. If that footage really is down there, Nancy, I want it. Yes, that is correct. I think whoever's been causing these accidents is trying to shut down my production so they can look for Collingwood's lost footage. Nancy, I think you have what it takes to find this lost footage. I suggest you head over to the Hotel Maltese. I'm keeping the cast and crew there with strict orders not to talk to the media. I suggest you start your investigation in Ms. McKenna's room. Make no mistake, Ms. Drew. Everyone is a suspect. Ah, good evening. The Pharaoh Files. Nothing but a gossip board for misguided conspiracy theorists. But yes, that proves Molly is aware of the existence of the footage. And because she has more access to the set than anyone, causing accidents would be child's play for her. She seems to spend an inordinate amount of time in the prop room on the upper level of the sound stage. Perhaps it's time someone found out why she always keeps it locked. I've invested every cent I have in this project. I'm doing everything I can to avoid bankruptcy. So I was forced to pull a few strings to get George to direct this film for as little pay as possible. The prop room awaits, Ms. Drew. Hello, Nancy. Are you making progress? Come again? No. No police. That is absolutely out of the question. Nancy! Wonderful timing. A slight problem has arisen, and it isn't like you to be so worried about her. Since you put it that way, perhaps you should drop whatever it is you're doing and look for her. That makes no sense. He spends all day with Ida on the set. Why would he secretly be taking pictures of her? And we were there for quite a while. No police. Find Ida. Quickly. How did you know she was a detective? You tried to scare Nancy off the case? You're the reason that black cat's always running around distracting the crew? All right, that's enough. Enough! Just go to your rooms and get a good night's sleep. All of you. Now. We've got a picture to finish. Ida was right about publicity. The surest way to create a blockbuster is to get the media talking about the picture before it opens. Correct. But from what I just witnessed, I'm afraid this film is headed for catastrophe no matter how many mishaps I arrange or how much publicity they generate. No, only one thing can save me from financial ruin. That lost footage. Please, Nancy, you must find it. I'm afraid I don't follow. Huh? Huh? Interesting. Maybe you should go lie down. You lost me. I'm not sure what to say. I beg your pardon. What you're doing can wait. You need to get back to the soundstage. Ms. McKenna's looking for you. Quite frantically, I might add. There's been another accident. That doesn't make sense. Sorry? What?